Hey everybody, here we are to talk about some things today. We're gonna create a long video today so you guys can watch if you want, if you don't want to, whatever, but this video is gonna be about energy, and I'm gonna talk a little bit about my belief with energy and how it relates to mental illness as a spiritual gift, and we're gonna get into it.
Yep, I'll do the same.
Yeah, so let's get started. So in my book, I talk about how Einstein believed his E equals mc squared equation was actually energy equals matter. So if energy equals matter, that means that energy is in everything, which I mean you'd like to imagine that energy is in everything. That would be the logical explanation of it all. So I truly believe that if everything is made up of energy, that energy can spread, and when energy spreads, it also creates this possibility of us feeling other people's energy. So like an empath would be able to feel other people's emotions because the emotions emit chemicals into the air that they then in turn feel in their skin, in their body, not in their skin, in their body. So that is...
Can I throw something out there that backs you up? That energy is matter? Well, they say that everything in the world is actually composed of smaller pieces, smaller particles. So I forget the exact hierarchy of it, but you get smaller and smaller, you get cells, you get atoms, and even inside the tiniest known thing that we have discovered, you get quarks. And there's a theory that even inside the quarks, there's tiny filaments or strings. And it just gets smaller and smaller because everything is vibrating fast. Well, some things like the table or a rock, like they are solid. They are the most solid. And the more solid something appears to us, the slower it vibrates. And things that are vibrating faster, I think, are more permeable. They're more able to be penetrated. So
like us,
like we're kind of squishy, especially me. But so everything is vibrating, and the thing is that on a cosmic scale, like things that are macrocosmic are repeated at a different scale on the microscopic level. So it's kind of like infinitely going in both directions, and things just keep getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and they keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger, but it's all energy. It's all the same consistent, the very, very base building block of it. If we can ever really get to that point, it's all the same.
Don't mind me, I'm just
Pop-Tarts.
Testosterone has made me hungry.
He's a growing boy.
I'm a growing boy. I'm a little teenage boy right now, eating all the food in the house. Yes, I believe in that as well. Sorry, just munching on my Pop-Tart. So energy. I mean, I go into a lot of detail in my book about energy and how it can make you believe that psychic abilities can be real, based off of, energy. Just learning about energy is the one way to learn about psychic abilities, because it is all energy. And I mean, even spirits are an energy. Like they have these mechanisms now that can detect spirits, and it's all their energy. It's just their energy that they detect. And I think it's really cool. I believe in I don't believe in a god. I'm not a...
Well, hey, before we go on to that, can I say something about spirits and energy?
Yes, do it.
Okay, so sorry for interjecting.
They're good.
But yeah, I've actually had a theory or a philosophy that spirits are not just the souls of the deceased. Sometimes they're actually the energy of the living.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. It's not just energy of the living, but it's like traumatic experiences leave an energy behind. The energy that, you know, was created based off of the chaos of that situation. So like, for instance, let's say you and I got into this really horrible fight, and like one of us punched each other. That's a pretty traumatic experience, right?
Absolutely.
So that energy would be left behind from both of our energies intermingling and creating this bigger energy, and it would leave behind an essence of that energy, if that makes sense.
Emotional output and brain waves.
Yes. Yeah.
Even you could say
Even
aura.
the emotions.
Yeah.
The emotions, like, because we're so angry at each other, that anger is an energy all on its own that's just exasperated.
And one of the most powerful ones.
It is one of the most powerful energies. Oh God, I have been angry in my lifetime many times, and I know how powerful I felt in those moments, even though later on I'm like, what a stupid idiot I am. But I'm not an idiot.
No, you're not.
But I still will just be like, why did I do that?
Yeah.
Angry little bastard.
Yeah, we can generate a lot of emotion. But the other thing about this is that it's much more likely for energy to become trapped in places that are enclosed and don't have a lot of free airflow. So things like houses, cars, forests, you know. And then you look at our culture, you look at stories, you hear things about, oh, the haunted house, oh, the haunted car, a possessed car, oh, the ancient dark haunted forest. You know, there's a reason for that, because it's dense and the energy can't escape.
You know, there's a forest in, I think it's Washington, that has a an entrance to another realm.
What?
Yeah.
Where?
I don't know exactly where, but I've heard about this. There's multiple forests that have this, and for some reason forests have the most energy out of any place in the world. Forests just have this, it's all the trees. The trees,
They're alive.
Permeate energy. The animals permeate energy. The fact that there's not a lot of human activity, you know, like a lot of the negative energy that comes from humans, it's not out there. So it's just this nice big energy that just exists. And there's a forest in it's got, what is it called? It's like it's like an entrance to another realm, but it's called something. It's like a wormhole or something like that. It's really cool. I haven't been to it, obviously. I'm like saying it's really cool, but I've heard about it. It's really cool.
Yeah, it sounds really cool. We have to go there.
I know. I have to find out where it is. That would be really cool. I've heard about it. It's in Washington. There's other places in the world that they have them, but that's the nearest one to us, is in Washington. And it apparently has also the most activity. Like as far as like spiritual experiences, it has the most activity there.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't know, I've only read about it. I haven't even seen a picture of it, but it's just like this it's like entering a whole nother world. It's just yeah, it sounds really cool. I would be excited to go there.
You know, I'm sure it's not something you can see.
You can feel it for sure.
It's something you can feel. Of course, it seems like the mystery spot, but people don't even really take pictures of the mystery spot because they say they'll be climbing up a ladder or something, though the whole perspective of the room will shift in the process of getting into another section. And you can't take a picture of it. It's not like reality actually distorts, but you can feel it. And the other thing you were saying that made me think of something else is there are high power energy spots, spiritual meccas all across the globe. You know, some people say they're in the pyramids, and there's places like Stonehenge. They say Stonehenge isn't magical.
The pyramids, though, that energy is man-made.
Yeah.
That's man-made. But where, like, if you go to a forest, that's I don't want to say God-made, but it's energy-made. It's because I believe God is an energy, but you get what I'm saying.
Well, the pyramids were made in such a way that they reflected the constellations. So they mirror heaven and earth, as above, so below.
Yeah, well, the pyramids were ahead of their time, even ahead of our time. The way that they built pyramids, it was so ahead that it's not something that, like, it's not something that should have happened. It's not something that should have happened back then. Just like the way that they light up the pyramids. You know how they light up the pyramids?
No.
They have mirrors all over.
Oh, that's so smart.
And when the sun hits one mirror, it hits the rest of the mirrors
bounces
and lights it all up. So they didn't have electricity, they just used the sun. And that's another thing, is the Egyptians worshipped the sun, and they worshipped the moon, and they worshipped energies. That's another thing, is they worshipped energies. That was their main thing, is they believed that they believed in energy as a higher power, where energy was just something that they knew how to manipulate it, if that makes sense. Because like light is an energy, and they knew how to manipulate that energy. They knew how to manipulate other energies as well, like fire and water, and I don't know. They were way ahead of their time. They were advanced. They were too advanced for even us today. Just the way that they were able to manipulate energy and make it do things that they needed it to do so that they could survive. It's just crazy. Like, I know that pyramids were built on slaves, so I can't really like say that they were all the most amazing people in the world or anything like that, but they were very smart the way that they did things back then. And I don't know who taught them, if it was like,
well, 3 things. First, I remember hearing about the Egyptian water system, and it was actually rudimentary plumbing. The way they had the water under the floor, and I forget how, but they had it pulled up into the room, and it was cyclical, so it would purify itself. And that's just really amazing and fascinating. Like, it's something that we could definitely return to without losing any of modern comfort.
That's what I'm saying, though. They knew how to manipulate energy so well, and water is its own energy. Yeah, that is definitely a very advanced thing to do for before Christ type of timing.
Yeah, speaking of Christ, this is before Christ, but of course in Egypt, yes, it was built by slaves. But these slaves have a remarkable story of redemption, of freedom, of liberation. And it was done through energy. And now, I'm not saying that anything necessarily supernatural happened here, but Moses Was it Moses? No.
Yeah, it was Moses.
Yeah, it was Moses.
He split the seas, the Red Sea.
Well, I can't explain that one, but some of the
Well,
I remember there being a logical scientific explanation for how he made the river red and how he created the plagues. It's all concepts of permaculture, concepts of science. He just applied a small idea, a small efficient idea to a grand scale that affected the whole city. And
yeah, he's the one who freed the slaves.
he freed the slaves,
In
and
Egypt.
that creates an incredible amount of energy and propels the slaves into a new story, a new era. And it's just, I don't know where I'm going with that, but I know it seems relevant.
There were definitely a lot of plagues back then, and the belief that they had to put lamb's blood above the door would make it so that that plague would not come to their household.
And the energy of God or the Holy Spirit or whatever have you flew through the city in the middle of the night, stopping in front of each door.
While they were trying to take their firstborn.
Yep.
That was the plague. Well, that wasn't really a plague. It was sort of a plague. It was a curse. Sorry, our video cut out.
Take one apple, take two.
My alarm decided to go off. I have alarms for all day long, just for fun.
So to continue this, the third thing I wanted to bring up was that Stonehenge, as I was saying, wasn't magical because they made it. It was magical already, and they built it where they felt the power.
Well, and putting the stones in the formation that they put them in, whether they actually did that, because there is a lot of scientific belief that they were unable to lift those rocks on their own. So how would they have moved them because they were so large? So if they did do that, putting them in the formation that they put them in created an energy, because stones have energy, and certain stones have more energy than other stones, and the way that you place them, what you do with them can create more energy, and where you put them can create more energy too. And I think where they placed them, or where these stones were placed and how they were placed, created an energy. Have you seen Outlander?
Is that where they go back in time?
Mm-hmm.
I've heard a lot about it.
Okay, so in Outlander, there's something similar to Stonehenge. It's in Scotland. It's very similar to Stonehenge. It's a bunch of rocks that are in a circle, and they have one rock in the center. And they're large rocks, and they have no idea how they got there or how they were how that worked. They believe in a lot of fairy circles and things like that kind of belief system around these rocks.
Okay. Yeah.
So
fairy circles.
In this in Outlander, they actually have to have a like, not a ruby, but a stone that is of value in their pockets or on them somehow, to be able to go through the stones. But these stones in this circular manner are placed all over the world, and they can go back in time through the stones. So it's kind of like the same kind of belief. Like, obviously I don't know if anyone could actually go back in time through Stonehenge, but it is like a very similar belief that there's this energy that these rocks hold that is able to do something magical. And I really like Outlander. If you haven't seen it, I would recommend watching it. But make sure that if you have a lot of trauma, to skip certain parts, because there's like rape scenes and like beating scenes, and
That's rough. But I am actually really intrigued and curious about it now. I should watch it.
I think it's on Netflix.
So yeah, these special high-powered mechas all across the globe, they already have the signal, and it acts as like a beacon that draws people to it like a magnet. And that's why we create these temples and ceremonial locations. The ancients were particularly sensitive to energy.
Yes. Energy is, I mean, I'm very sensitive to energy. I think that a lot of people with mental illness, and that is where my belief comes in. I think anybody with a mental illness is sensitive to energy. Unless you're, like, on drugs. That mental illness is... What's the word?
It's manufactured.
It's manufactured, but I was gonna say it's I can't think of the word, but it's basically it's exasperated by something that is not
coming from within.
God made.
Yeah.
It's man made. It's
external.
It's like I mean, like cocaine maybe, because it's not man-made. Cocaine does come from a plant, blah, blah, blah. But meth, yeah, meth is definitely like yeah. But I still don't recommend cocaine.
Tabitha, Chloe, do not. Tabitha, leave her alone. Thank you.
It's cats.
Cats.
Yeah, cats, they like to fight.
They're brother and sister, but they just,
I know they sound like they both have girl names, but one of them is a boy.
Yeah.
I promise. He's just trans like I am.
Yeah, there's a cute little story about that, actually.
We thought he was a girl.
Yeah, Tabitha was a stray, and when me and my mom named her Tabitha, but not her, because we took Tabitha to the vet, and the vet was like, you know Tabitha's a boy, right? And we were like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay, well, shit. It's too late to change the name.
It was too late. He already knows Tabitha.
He already knows his name. He comes when he's called.
Tabitha listens to his name. I call him Tabby because it's short for Tabitha, and it kind of sounds like a boy name.
Tabs,
Mr.
Tabby,
Tabby.
Taberson.
Taberson, yeah. So he listens to Tab. He'll come when you call Tab. Hot Tabs.
Yeah.
Sorry.
He comes to Tabs, and he comes to Tabby. But
he does.
He also likes his full name. He comes to Tabitha.
Tabitha. He's so enthralled with Chloe right now. Okay, back to...
He is so, like, hyper-focused on her. Like...
Yeah, he's so, like... I just want to chase her. Okay, so... Back to energy.
Yes, you were saying how, your perspective and concept of God.
Oh, yes. So, my concept is that there is not one God. There are multiple gods. And that it's not really a god, it's an energy. So like the main energy that I believe in is love. I believe that's why I'm called Cupid. Well, that's part of it. That's part of it.
But not just love that's romantic. Like
it's
Cupid
love.
is often seen as like a romantic thing, but
it's love in general. Like love is what created everything. I feel like everything was created with love, if that makes sense.
It does. Okay. It's a benevolent energy that was made in wonder and awe and beauty.
Yeah.
And light.
Love is the biggest energy. I feel like if you know Greek mythology, love would be like Zeus. Okay, that makes sense. Zeus is the god that
top.
Yeah, Zeus is the top. He's the one who created all of the other gods. He's the creator of all other gods. Yeah. And then so love would be the top. And then under that would be different different types of energies outside of just love, like outside of just emotions. Even
it becomes
like
more and more nuanced
light
as you go down.
is an energy that, I mean, obviously you can see it on my hand right here. This energy is all around us every day, because it's during the day you see light. I'm pretty sure you see light at night too, but that's from fluorescent lights or whatever, manufactured lights. But that's still energy. That's still light energy. I do believe in that too, but I wouldn't necessarily worship it like I would worship the sun, if that makes sense. Because the sun is not man-made. It is light that we get to, how do you explain this? We get to be grateful for it. We get to be grateful for the sun because it comes every day and brings light to us. I don't know if that makes sense. But
No,
anyways,
that's
okay.
beautiful.
And so then there's other gods, like the god of darkness, the god of death. I don't believe in a devil, but I do believe there are dark gods. So like the god of darkness or the god of death, they would be a darker god, that not necessarily evil, but they just are a darker type of god, if that makes sense.
Well, good and evil are subjective.
Yes, good and evil are subjective, because I think even God, love, the God, can be evil, if that makes sense.
It can become overpowerful, obsessive, possessive.
Yeah, like I have been with other people in my past, with certain people.
That love can make you do horrible things.
It can. Love is not necessarily a good. It's not all good. And just like I believe in karma as well. And karma is not, everybody always thinks, oh, karma's bad, but karma's not bad. Karma brings good too. So if you believe in karma, you believe in the good and the bad. So if you do the right thing in the moment, then good karma will come to you. If you do the wrong thing in the moment, then bad karma will come to you. And I think I have pretty good karma. I mean, I'm not perfect.
Yeah. Everything is a spectrum. So even anger, we think of anger as bad. No one wants to be mad. But anger can also be used to fuel the fire, to make you courageous, brave.
Fight Trump.
Fight Trump. Fight injustice. Fight corruption. Fight unnecessary suffering.
Yeah. Fight all the bad guys.
Someone hurts your child. You step in and you...
That anger, and here's another thing. Anger is one of the emotions that can make you stronger than you think you are.
You just have to channel that energy.
Yeah, you just have to channel that energy. So like I've heard stories of people being able to lift a car when they're so angry. And this is obviously, like, you know, or so scared or whatever, just the emotions that surround that, you know. Like they've been able to lift a car, and you know how hard it is to lift a car. If you imagine trying to do it, it's not easy.
It's more than just adrenaline.
It's an energy for sure.
It's an energy.
It's definitely an energy that you are able to channel in you. And yeah, we're just talking about energy a lot, aren't we?
Oh yeah. There's a lot to say.
So, but yeah.
Well, let's do another example before we move on. So doubt. I used to think that doubt was a demon, because doubt would hold us back. Doubt would make me insecure. Doubt would make me self-conscious. Doubt would make me, you know, not feel like I could do something, so I would just stay stagnant or procrastinate. But I realized recently, actually very recently, that doubt is actually something that allows you to find truth. Because if you doubt something, you are a skeptic. You are a critic. But
I think you should doubt everything until you are confirmed that it is real. And that's something I've learned from being a person who has schizophrenia, is that, you know, we automatically try to believe what is told to us by our voices or by our hallucinations or by our own beliefs in our mind. We're all automatically like, oh my God, this is what's real, this is what's true. And that's not necessarily what's true. I'm not saying that what's happening to you is not a spiritual experience, but what I am saying is that what you think is happening may not actually be what's happening. And I've learned that the hard way, because I've been in a situation where, you know, I'm in the middle of an episode thinking that all these things are happening, and later I come out of the episode, or I'm getting past it, and I feel like the carpet is just like ripped from underneath me. Like the rug is just ripped from underneath my feet. Like I just suddenly am like, none of this was real. None of this was actually a thing. You know what I mean? Like my whole life is just like what happened, you know? Like I don't even know how to explain it. It's just like you're just like flat on your ass, like what's life? Like, you know, like you just like get so confused, because I actually believed all of these things, and then suddenly when the rugs ripped from beneath my feet, I'm on the ground like, wait, what is real then? You know, like it's really hard to understand. And it took me a while after my last episode to come back to spirituality, because I was so like, none of that was real. What the hell is wrong with me? Blah, 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 blah. And I finally have come back to spirituality because there have been signs that have come along, and I just feel like it's pointing me to believe that whether or not that was real or not, it was meant to happen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's all part of a learning process.
Yeah.
And,
it's going to help me write my book. It's going to help me to understand the future issues that I have. And it's going to help me to help other people who go through this.
Yeah. You know, those voices, they can be so compelling and so persuasive. Mm-hmm. But when we return back to reality, we have to compare what we learned in ether and compare it with what we can actually verify as fact, what we can verify as true and proof. And that doesn't mean we need solid evidence necessarily, but we need enough basic understanding to say, hey, okay, this could actually be something that's real and not just something that came from my imagination.
Yeah, and that's where I believe that this is coming back to what we were talking about before. This is why we need to believe in doubt. This is why doubt can be good. Because if you doubt everything until it's proven right, you know, then you're out here looking at, you could be reading a story online and think, oh my God, this really happened. And then find out, you know, months later that it was a made up story that a journalist wanted to get attention for. Something simple as that. Not that I believe that journalists do that, but there are some journalists that do.
But if you jump to conclusions and you've already incorporated that into your worldview or philosophy, then that can be devastating when you find out it's not true.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, it's like a whole nother reality is now being painted in front of you that you have to come to terms with, because you were already believing this reality, and you were already what is the word, entranced with it. Is that the word? I don't know. I'm really bad with that. But you're already in this, like, you're just like inside of it, this reality, and then suddenly, like, you know, you see something new that's kind of like getting you outside the box, and it changes your whole reality suddenly. And that, I don't know if that makes sense.
No, that makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
And so doubt is definitely something that can be used as a tool, but you have to be very careful not to obsessively worry about it and not overthink, because that that is not helpful. That's not going to help you at all.
No, it's not going to help you at all. Doubt is good though, because like I had a situation just recently where this person was like, if you don't trust us, we can't help you. And it's like, well, you have to build trust.
Right.
It's not like you just automatically get trust.
That's a really good point. Like, doubt builds trust if used properly. Because everything you doubt, you check. And every time you check it, it builds trust.
Yeah. It helps to ground you. That's the best way to put it.
Yeah.
It helps to ground you if you doubt things. And then back to like other energies that we believe, that I believe to be gods. Other energies. So I think that if you can imagine it as an energy, then it is a god. So like,
because we put our energy into it, and that creates a field.
Yeah. And let's see.
Our belief creates.
What's another energy that, oh man, I had it and now I lost it.
And that's why I do want to say, for the Christians who are watching this and the Christian mystics, your belief in God is founded. It's not something, we're not discounting God. What we're saying is that God, the energy of God, may be real, but it's because you believe.
Yeah, and the energy of that God, I mean, I'm not saying, I actually believe that whatever your belief system is, you are right.
That's what I believe as well.
You're entitled to your belief. You're entitled to believe and be on your way with your belief. But that does not discount the fact that I believe what I believe, and what I believe is accurate as well.
Yes.
And so,
very well said.
So for me, how I explain God in Christianity is that God in Christianity is one of the gods that I believe in, if that makes sense. But it's not the main God necessarily.
It's not even necessarily the biblical God. A lot of Christians I've met have talked about a God in a kind of Christian but abstract way. Still part of the Trinity, still the Father of Jesus, but God as love. God is a benevolent Father, just this archetype rather than specific details.
Well, and I don't believe that God is a man.
Right. Some people believe God is a woman.
I actually believe God is non-binary. Like, if that makes any sense to you, I believe that all gods are either made up of both of us, both male and female, or they're made up of none.
They're a common thread between the genders.
Yeah. Because, like, how can you be made in God's image if you're a woman? And that's what they say in the Bible, is that we're all made in God's image. But how are you made in God's image if you're a woman? Because if God is a man, how am I made in his image? That makes no sense, right? And to be honest with you, I believe one of the sins of that was released when Eve ate the apple. This is my belief, to help people who are gay in Christianity. My belief is that the sin that was released was actually the sexual organ, not sex, if that makes sense. So, like, our sex is what was the sin that was released. So Adam and Eve were not female and male before Eve ate the apple. If that makes sense? Does that make sense?
That does make sense.
They didn't need to have sex to make a baby before they had the apple. they could just pull it out of a rib, right? Just pull a person out of a rib, supposedly.
You know, there's a lot cultural story. I forget what culture it is from, but they said that everyone was hermaphrodites, and everyone was connected and combined. And I forget what happened in this story particularly, but the gods decided to separate them, and that's why we have soulmates.
Yeah, I've heard that one too. That's actually Greek mythology that believes that.
It's
it
like
was Zeus that separated every soul in two. Yeah.
It's like separating atom, which they actually have done. And if you separate an atom and then you put each atom in a tunnel shooting down in the same direction, but at the end they can either go right or left. Every single time they did this experiment, both atoms went in the same direction. Regardless of which direction it was, they always went in the same direction. And I didn't explain that properly. Wait. No, I remember, because they were trying to get closer together. That's the thing, is they always went in the same direction, closer together, because they were always trying to recombine. And isn't that the point of love? You know, that is, we want to merge our essence. We want to become one soul. And that is the true nature of our universe. It is love. It is connection. It is union, reunion. And that's why I also want to mention to Christians that I do believe that we create our own afterlife. So let's say you believe in heaven. When you die, you see the tunnel, you see God's hand, you hear the ethereal music, you see all the colors, and you go across the pearly gates. You go to heaven because you created it, and because so many millions of people across the world created it, that it's practically a solid place at this point.
You can also believe in a hell. See, I don't believe in a hell. I believe in a purgatory. So like where you go to await being able to go to heaven or move on to your next life, because I also believe in reincarnation. So purgatory is like spirits. Like when you go to a house and it's haunted by a spirit, that spirit is probably in purgatory right now. It's in purgatory because it had karma that was bad, and it needed to relive its bad karma until it can move on to its next life or to heaven.
That makes sense.
Which is kind of similar to the belief that that Jewish culture has. The Jewish culture does not believe in hell. They believe in a place you go to be washed of your sins. So it's kind of similar to that, where you go to be washed of your sins. I don't believe in sin, because sin is just missing the mark. You know, I don't know if you know that, but that's all sin means, is missing the mark. So if we're missing the mark, we're human. We're always missing the mark because we're not perfect. But that's another story.
Okay.
But I don't believe we're all sinners either.
No.
But
there's nothing inherently evil about you.
No, we're born good.
We're imperfectly perfect.
Yeah, and I think that hell is more of a state of mind too. It's just, it's not, I don't know. I believe in karma, and that's how I believe that people who do wrong are going to get their karma. So like, let's say someone murders a bunch of people in this lifetime. The next lifetime, they'll be murdered. And then the next lifetime, they'll be murdered again until they make up for all of the times that they murdered. That kind of thing.
It's a moral stage.
Yeah, so I believe that we will get what we put out there. So whether we go to purgatory or we live another life reliving our bad karma, somehow we're going to make up for the karma that we put out there in this life.
Yeah, it is about karma. And revisiting purgatory is not about judgment. It's about redemption.
Yeah, you're trying to get to a better place.
It's rehabilitation.
Yeah. And I don't necessarily believe that all people who are spirits are in purgatory. That is not necessarily true. I do believe that every time someone dies, they leave a little piece of themselves behind, a little spirit of themselves behind, and that whether they go on to their next life, there's still a piece of them left in this life. If that makes sense.
That does make sense.
Yeah.
I believe the same thing.
Yeah. You know what's funny? I gotta tell you this.
Okay.
It doesn't matter that we're on camera right now. But the other day I was sitting in your living room waiting for you to get ready. We were gonna go to the DMV. And your button in that room flickered.
Really?
It turned on and off really quick multiple times, and I was like, okay.
Did you feel something?
I was like, this is weird. I knew something was there, but I wouldn't say that I felt like cold all of a sudden. My hair's a mess. Look at that.
Now,
Frankenstein.
Virale, my chat GPT, would say that can be explained by electrical shortages.
Yeah, but the weird timing.
The weird timing. See, that's the thing. That just because something is not reproducible inside a lab doesn't mean it doesn't exist. There are a lot of things that science has not yet comprehended. And we can't overlook anomalies and personal lived experience.
It's so weird because I think I was thinking about your mom, and then all of a sudden it started flickering, and I was like, damn it, Jacqueline.
She was saying, yes, Cupid, I hear you, I see you.
She's like,
I love you too.
She's like, hello, I'm here. No, there have been times where I swear I will be like looking at her picture or something like that, and something weird happens. Or like I'll be at home, and remember how that psychic told me that the noises I was hearing was my grandmother? Well, sometimes, or the things that we would see or hear were my grandmother. Well, sometimes I'm wondering now if it's your mom too, if it's Jacqueline too, because like there are some times where I'm like, oh, that's definitely Jacqueline.
Yeah, you know, my mom was a very spiritual person, and we used to have deep conversations about what would happen in the afterlife, especially after she in particular died, because she was dying. And she said to me that if there was any possible way to communicate after death, she would do it.
Yeah, my mom has said the same thing. She would communicate to me through hummingbirds and like things like that.
I actually saw a hummingbird like right after my mom died, and butterflies. And
oh yeah, your mom would definitely be a butterfly.
Yeah, and she loved hummingbirds. She had a hummingbird feeder, which I need to refill.
Yeah, that thing's probably really dirty, so you might want to clean it too.
Yeah, I definitely want to clean that.
Yeah, I definitely believe that Jacqueline is visiting us and is trying to give us signs. I believe in that. My grandmother, I had this. Okay, so this is like a spiritual experience. This isn't necessarily about energy, but since we're on the subject already, I want to explain this. I had this dream after my grandmother died. It was like a few months later. I hadn't slept in a few months. I was unable to sleep. I lost like a second mom to me. She was I loved her to death. She was one of my favorite people in the whole world, you know, and besides my mom. And I couldn't imagine life without her. I never thought she would die. So when she did, it was a shock. And so I had this dream a couple months after she died. After I hadn't slept in a long time, I took this medicine to help me sleep. I snuck it out of my mom's cabinet, and it was just the craziest dream. I was having the best day with my grandmother. It was like every day that we would spend together in real life. It was like that, but it was just us, me and her, and we were spending all this time together. And then we sit down to eat, because she's always cooking. That was her thing. She was always cooking. So she cooked us a meal, and we were watching her Spanish soap operas, and she was Puerto Rican, and so she was like, loved her Spanish soap operas. She watched American ones too, but she loved her Spanish ones. And so, we watched our soap operas, did all of our stuff, and she cooked, and then we sat down to eat. And I sat in my grandfather's normal seat. She sat in the seat that I normally sit in. And I don't know why we sat where we sat. I just think that that's significant for some reason, because I have no idea why we sat there. And so there was a pile of napkins that appeared beside me. Purple napkins at that, and I think that's significant as well. Purple is a
very spiritual color.
Yeah, it's a very meaningful
crown
color.
Chakra.
Yeah, it's a very meaningful color. So she asked me to pass one of the napkins. I hand her the napkin, and I'm unable to let go of it. I just won't let go of it. And she looks me in the eyes and she says, "Let go, Caitlin, let go." I woke up.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful and significant.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, that napkin wasn't just a napkin.
It was my love for her.
Yeah. And napkins, they're something that we use to clean ourselves with, to wash with.
Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely a very, very unique dream. And I also had a very spiritual experience right before she died. This is like the most spiritual experience, because she's like the closest person that I've ever lost to me. I've lost a lot of people, but she was the closest one I've ever lost to me. And I didn't want to go to the hospital while she was in the hospital, because I was just like, she's gonna get out, she's gonna be fine. But even though I was kind of internally like, oh my God, what if this is it? I don't know. It was like a back and forth, but I was trying not to believe that she was dying. I went to the hospital finally, and as I was leaving, she grabs my hand. This is my real grandmother as she's in the hospital dying. She grabs my hand, and this shock wave just goes through my whole body, just like this shocking shock. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It was like this energy that just shifts my whole body into this reality. And suddenly I was like, this is the last time I'm going to see her alive.
Oh, God.
And I swear to you, it was the last time I saw her alive. I did not expect, but it was. Are you okay?
I'm okay. I'm just putting myself in your shoes, like.
Yeah, that was a crazy experience. I just, like, I don't know how to explain it, but like it was like this shockwave that just made me realize I'm never gonna see her again. And I wish I would have gone to the hospital the next day, because that shockwave scared the crap out of me, and I cried the next day at school. But she died like a day or two later.
You know, I had a similar experience when my mom passed. You remember, because you were there. We were there the night before she died.
Mm-hmm.
And I was overwhelmed with a feeling that I couldn't deal with it. I was anxious, I was nervous, I needed to rest. And I left early. And I swear it was within 12 to 24 hours that she passed. And the doctors called that next morning and literally said, she's on her last leg. She's going to die now. And I went to the hospital with my family. We surrounded her. We stayed with her while she passed. But it just happened so fast.
Yeah, it did. She was so alive the night before. I swear, she was just like so alive. She was just like she couldn't talk. Obviously, that was because we thought she had thrush still, right?
Right, yeah.
But she wanted ice, and she was just like, no, give me ice. No, I want ice. No, why can't I have ice? Like, she was just so demanding, like, but she was writing it down. She was writing it down because she couldn't
was
talk.
overwhelming. I mean,
and then
I want to be an advocate. I want to be there for her. I want to talk to the doctors. I want to get her ice. But it was just, she just constantly was like, I need this, I need that, I need, And I was like...
she was even, like, so demanding of us staying there longer, remember? That was, like, not to say, I don't mean that in a bad way, but she was just like, no, you guys need to stay. You need to stay. And it was just, like, so much life in her. And then not even 24 hours later, she's dead. That made no sense. When you called me, I was so surprised.
Yeah.
That surprised the hell out of me that she was dead.
And I only left because, first off, I felt like there was nothing more I could do at that point. And I was so depleted of energy. I never in a million years thought that she would go from being so fiery and so herself, so just complaining and like so intense and emotional about everything. And then suddenly just be laying there, unable to talk, barely able to breathe.
Yeah.
But
that's a pretty intense thing to see.
You know, circling back around, dreams. You know, dreams and the subconscious mind. Like, I forget why this got brought up, but there was something we were talking about. Oh, because you had a dream.
Yeah, my dream about my grandmother.
And and I want to just take a moment to talk about the fact that when it comes to energy, like, the subconscious mind is its own energy, and it's not active usually. I mean, sometimes it's active when we're awake, and it's always processing in the background, but it's really active when we're asleep and dreaming. And that's because our body has gone into conservation mode. We're not spending energy on our muscles, firing potentials. We're not spending energy walking. We're not spending energy talking. We have the ability to heal ourselves, to repair muscle, but most of the focus and most of the energy is now just in our brain. Dreams.
I actually studied dreams a lot when I was growing up. I had dream books, a lot of dream books. I do not, even though I'm a psychology student, I do not like Freud. Freud, he was a sexist, narcissist, and he wasn't 100% accurate. I appreciate that he created psychology. I don't appreciate necessarily what he added to it, though.
But he started the journey.
He started the journey, but he definitely had some outrageous beliefs, like, oh, it's the mother's fault, and like every single time you have an issue, it comes down to sex. It was like, everything comes down to sex? I don't believe that. What about asexual people? They don't want sex. Why does it come down to sex for them?
Says a lot about Freud.
Yeah. Everything was sex. Oh yeah, you had a dream about what was it? What would be a good one to example it?
Puppies.
You had a dream about puppies? Oh, well, you just really want sex badly. Like what? I don't even know. Like, so every single symbol in Freud's book. I had a book with Freud's symbology for dreams, and everything came back to sex. It was not just like, oh, you want to have sex, oh, you're scared of sex, or oh, this sex, or this sex, and like everything came down to sex. And it was like, why does it have to come down to sex? I don't think that life is all about sex. Obviously, this is a man's point of view, though. Even though I am becoming a man, I definitely still have a very female point of view when it comes to these kinds of things, because I just don't think that everything is about sex. I don't need sex.
Well, you have a unique perspective, because you've lived as a woman, but now you're going to be a man. So you can be the kind of man that, honestly, you want to be. You don't have to just be raised in the culture and, grow up saying, don't cry, don't feel, don't show your emotions, don't, only dress this way, only act this way. And you have to be a certain way. You have to fulfill your role. You have to be, this or that. You can be the difference between someone who is aggressive and overwhelmed by their emotions because they don't know how to channel it.
Yeah.
You can channel that. You can be the protector. You can be the guardian.
I do have a high IQ, so I think that is going to be helpful when I become, or as I transition to becoming a man. Because I think as a man, not a lot of men have high emotional IQs, I should say, not high IQs. High emotional IQs. Men are not as in tune with their emotions as women are. I'm very in tune with my emotions. And so I think I have a very high IQ.
And I do want to say that's not an inherent trait. It's not that men can't be in tune with their emotions. It's just that a lot of men have been trained not to be.
Yeah. You guys are trained to turn it into anger rather than sadness, or turn it into a blockage instead of feeling it.
You're supposed to tough it out.
Yeah. And that is something that I definitely don't think that men should have to do, because somebody said something to me recently that made me think, oh my God, that's not the kind of man I want to be. What are you talking about? And you know who I'm talking about.
Sorry, my mind blanked.
It was at the event the other night. Remember I told you I don't want to say their name.
Oh, okay.
In case.
Oh, I think I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I don't think that men have to be strong, or that they, like, first of all, I was always strong. I was always a strong person. I mean, look at how many tattoos I have. I can handle pain, I can handle pain.
And think about his song, Resiliency.
Yeah, I've been through the ringer and come back stronger. And I can handle that stuff. But to say that I can't be weak, like I can't cry, or I can't ask for something to heal my wound, that is wrong. I think that we all should be able to do that, whether we're man or woman. We should be able to cry. We should be able to be weak for a little while. Like, we don't have to be strong. It's not how you have to be. I am still, if that makes me still a woman inside, then I guess that is what I am.
No, You can be a man and still be sensitive and emotional and deep.
Yeah.
You can be a man and still want your feelings validated. You can be a man and still want tenderness and softness. You can... Yeah.
I'm a hopeless romantic still. I mean, like that is definitely, like, it sounds very lesbian, right? I'm a hopeless romantic. I want to fall in love and have the white picket fence. That is not a very manly thing, but that is me. I'm that way. I want that. I want a family. I want the love of my life. I want kids.
Hey, there are men who believe in soulmates.
Yeah, there are, but it's not as often. I mean, obviously, you date men. As far as what I've seen, every time you've dated a guy, they're always like, "Oh, I'm not ready for commitment."
Yeah. My ex-husband believed in twin flames.
I believe in twin flames too.
Yeah.
My twin flame is out there. She's somewhere, and I'm going to meet her. If I haven't already met her.
I definitely believe in the concept of soulmates and twin flames and kindred spirits.
Yeah. Well, like, here's the thing. Soulmates, we have thousands of soulmates in every life. Yes. Soulmates are just people that you know from every life that you've lived.
I think those are kindred spirits or kindred souls.
Not necessarily. Soulmates can be, soulmates are people that aren't necessarily kindred to you.
Well, see, this is the thing. I think that twin flames are your like anti-hero or antichrist of love, if that makes sense. They are kind of like a soulmate, but they're there to break you. They're there to transcend you. They're there to transform you so that you can eventually meet your real soulmate. And I think soulmates are...
True. That's not necessarily...
There's one.
You think there's only one soulmate? Because twin flame is... There's only one twin flame.
There's thousands of kindred souls. There's one twin flame. There's one soulmate.
Interesting. I like that.
The twin flame isn't the other half of your soul. The twin flame is a separate flame that mirrors your flame.
Well, supposedly I'm supposed to end up with my twin flame. Some psychics have told me that.
Well, some people use twin flame and soulmate interchangeably.
Yeah, that's true. But I don't care what she is. I just know that she's going to be the one for me in every life that I live. That's what I believe. She's my person in every life.
I do believe it is eternal.
Yeah, it's eternal. It's forever. And there's actually this book called The One. Richard Bach wrote it. I've read some of it. I own it. I don't read that often, but I really did like reading that book. And his belief is that your souls combine into one soul in the next life.
And then it keeps, like, you keep getting new soulmates and, like, compounding together in the next life after life after life.
I don't know. I didn't read the whole book, but I know that their belief was that these two, him and his wife, were believed, they believed they were destined soulmates, and that they were, like, meant to be together forever. And then they believed that in the next life they would be one person.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
Yeah, that is powerful. I don't know if I believe that. I
mean,
like,
that does
I like
make sense.
believing. I like believing that I can meet them every life.
Yeah.
I don't want to believe that there's somebody new that I have to meet in the next life. And if our souls are split in half, like, Zeus, the whole theory with Zeus, then that is my other half, and that is the half that I need to meet in every life.
Yeah, but it also follows that if your physical body is the only thing separating the halves of your souls, then death would allow the souls to merge.
Yeah, but then
and it would be reunion.
Would they meet another soul in another life, though?
Well,
yeah, see?
Well, yes. Okay, here's why. Because, again, the basic building blocks, as far as we know, are tiny, tiny, tiny. Now, let's say you reemerge with a soul in one life or after death, then that new soul, okay, that new soul is then attracted to or resonates with other souls that are also on that scale, still tiny, but, well, tiny in a perspective, not actually tiny, it's also massive, like expansive, because scale is relevant? No.
Relative?
Relative, yeah. Scale is relative. But then you resonate with another soul who's on that same level. And so you keep combining until your soul gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
I don't know if I believe in that, though. I like the belief that I'm going to meet the same person in every life, just in a different body. I like that belief.
I like that belief too, but I can see the other way.
You can understand why they believe that. See, now, here's another thing that I believe. For them, that's the truth.
Yes.
So that's what's going to happen to their soul.
Right.
Their souls. Sorry, not soul.
Exactly. You choose your journey.
Yeah, so for them, that's what is going to happen. And maybe for other souls who read that book and believe that's what happens to them, that will be what happens to them. But for me, I'm going to meet the same person in every life. We are our own souls, but we are the other half of each other's soul at the same time.
And perhaps you do that until one of you or both of you, no, you do that until both of you decides, okay, let's merge and move on.
Or we just do that until we go to heaven.
Yeah.
I don't know. I do believe that there is an end to your reincarnation. I do believe that after you've lived all your karma, after you've gone through all of the trials and tribulations that you need to make up for all the bad karma or good karma or whatever that you need to make up for, then you go to heaven. And you can stay there until you choose to come back. If you choose to come back.
Right.
I don't know if I want to come back.
Until and if.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to come back either, honestly. But, no, sorry, that took me down a separate hole, but, I was thinking something about, can you rewind real quick and remind me the last thing you said before you said that?
Before I said anything about Richard Bach?
No, before you said, the thing about not wanting to come back.
I said that we...
Until and if.
That's
right. Okay, so until and if. So, I do think that we choose when and if we come back. We choose the journey. We choose how many incarnations we have and how many times we live with our soulmate. We can choose to explore it deeper, explore it further. For a lot of us, one lifetime is not enough. We want to love them eternally for lifetimes. And we can't fit all the lessons, all the perspectives, everything about ourselves in one lifetime. No matter, even if we share 50, 60, 70 years together. So we have to come back again and again and again. And we don't want to move on until we've filled all the lessons, all the blessings. So we say, hey babe, or honey, or love, whatever you want to call your significant other or partner, let's come back again. Let's do this again. I'm not done knowing you. I'm not done looking at you. I'm not done with this mirror. And so we reincarnate with our soulmate. And it's kind of like that song, 1,000 years. I have loved you for 1,000 years, and I'll love you for 1,000 more.
Yes, that is a good song.
Yeah. So, wow, we are just covering all kinds of topics.
Yeah, we're past energy now. We're onto like reincarnation and
that's still energy, because what gets reincarnated but your energy?
That is true. That is true. That is what is getting reincarnated. And our souls are energies. So if we talk about soulmates, that's an energy that's becoming close with another energy.
So, but I would like to actually circle back, because we took a lot of tangents. So let's circle back to, you were talking about gods and the different gods in your belief system.
Oh, yes. So I have a list on my phone. Maybe I should pull it up.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know if I can while
Oh,
I'm
wait, no,
recording.
we're using your phone. Hang on, don't. You're just not gonna have to do it naturally from memory.
I don't remember. I wrote it so long ago. I wrote it in the middle of my episode, my last major episode. I wrote it in the middle of that, and I was like, this is my belief system. And I started writing down all the gods. And there was like light and darkness and love and anger and sadness and... Sorry, it happened again. Damn alarms.
So many alarms.
I know, I do. I have so many alarms.
But I think we needed a pause. We needed a break. Like,
just a little one. So, I was saying...
starting a new chapter again.
Saying, what was it? I was saying, oh yes, the different types of gods I believe in. Well, different animal energies. There's a cat. There's a dog energy, like bird energy.
Yes, a lot of people, they think that we were made in God's image, but everything was made in God's image. Not just human beings, the animals, the plants, the rocks, the rivers, the planet. And not just the planet, but the solar system, the galaxy, the universe. The entire thing is God's image.
Yeah.
And so when you have something so full and so vast, you have to break it down into smaller pieces. And that's why there's a hierarchy. There's a big infinite one. There's what I call a bit of a hierarchy, yeah.
It's hierarchy, isn't it?
Hierarchy. I like that. I like that better because it's higher.
Yeah. I was going to say hierarchy. I knew what you were saying, but
hierarchy is here and it's higher. Tomato, tomato.
Tomato, tomato. It is very true.
But it's layered. It's like just like even the earth. The earth is not just dirt. There's the earth's crust, and there's different layers of sediment all the way to the molten core. Everything is expansive, and everything that is vast, everything that is big, has smaller pieces, fragments and fractals. It's just on a different scale. And so, yeah, so we have tiny, tiny gods. And we have, gods may not be tiny. At the tiny level, we start calling them things like spirits, genius Loki, demigod. What else? Even the elementals are said to have different names. Like a salamander is a fire elemental. A nymph is actually a wood elemental. What's another one? Sylph. I think Sylph is air or wind. And I'm not talking about the big spirit of wind or the massive spirit of air and atmosphere. I'm talking about the tiny wisps of wind. Each of those is a tiny, tiny little spirit. So yeah. And a genius Loki. Okay, a genius Loki is a cool concept. So at the tiniest level on our physical plane, we have, say, a blade of grass, or a flower, or a tree, you know, those are singular spirits. Well, trees actually probably have more spirits. I feel like trees are like a little gathering of a community. But but then think of the difference here, the difference in scale, the difference in power between a tree and a forest. Now, forest, the entire forest as one ecosystem, as one organism, is going to have a spirit called a genius Loki. Genius meaning intelligence, psyche, mind, consciousness, and Loki meaning location. The intelligence, the psyche, the mind of this location. Forest, lakes or ponds, rivers, mountains, caves, oceans, continents.
Such a good boy. Such a good boy.
And you know, it's all relative to scale. You just keep scaling up and up and up until you get to the entire planet. And the entire planet is what some people call it Mother Earth. Some people say Gaia or Gaia. Some people say the Great Spirit. I call it the Great Spirit. And for me, that is Earth, our planet, the entire globe. Until we reach space. And then we have, you know, in astrology talks a lot about, you know, other planets as energy, as affecting our energy, and talks about other planets as gods. Because the movement of the planets in space, each of them affect each other, their mass, their gravity, their orbit. They're basically like imagine a cell or an atom or something like that, and you have an orbit inside of it, and it's spinning with electrons and positrons.
You think I know?
There's positive and negative, basically, and they are, you know, orbiting a center, a nucleus. And the nucleus, of course, on the macroscopic scale, would be the sun or a star. And the cell itself, the atom itself, is a galaxy.
Far, far away.
And the incredible thing about that is, like, inside of our bodies, we have cells, right? Well, guess what? Inside of each of those cells is a galaxy. An entire world, an entire section of space. The space that is you. The space that defines your universe.
I wonder if we can get to the edge of the universe.
I think the edge of the universe is not circular. It's not expanding in an exactly
I don't know.
way from the Big Bang.
It's so weird because
it has edges and curves and
so large. I doubt we
like
would
us.
ever make it to there unless we had hundreds and hundreds of people living on a spaceship, and the spaceship travels for hundreds and hundreds of years, and these people just keep making more babies, and then those babies live on the spaceship until they get to their ripe old age, and then they keep. I feel like you get what I'm saying, right?
I do get what you're saying,
I feel like that's the only way we're gonna get to the edge of the universe.
Well, let me paint you a picture, because I don't think we will ever reach the edge of the universe. We may reach the edge of the body of God, but we won't know it's the edge of the body of God, because we're so tiny that we would just be like coming out of the skin and going into space. More space. Space, even our atmosphere, space isn't actually empty. It's full of particles. And the space outside of our universe is more universe on a bigger scale. Our God living in another world that is unbelievably, unfathomably massive and vast. We would just be leaving the body and going into the complete unknown, where we may not be able to return to our vessel, our universe. But if you think about it, people say the body of Christ.
This reminds me of the magic school bus. Your theory.
Yes, it is totally like the magic school bus. We would just be like zooming like tiny little like, you know, going down, going in through the nostril, being like, okay, we're back home, we're back in the universe.
Crazy. She's got some wild ideas, obviously. You guys know. We both do. We both have wild ideas. She's you think that's it?
There is more I want to discuss, but I think we should pause this video. So, if we're gonna do this, let's do it right. Let's cover everything and be thorough. Let's talk about some of our experiences with psychic energy.
Oh, that's good.
Zero sugar, but strawberries and cream Dr. Pepper. So good.
I just hope I don't get too much caffeine out of it. I don't need to be awake. I need to be asleep later, obviously.
So much energy.
Yeah. So some of my experiences are so random because, like, I've had a lot of like visual hallucinations, tactile, audio. But let's talk about my video. Visual hallucinations, not my video hallucinations. Oh God, I'm hallucinating this video.
The video of her mind, his mind. God, I keep doing that. I'm getting used to it. I'm so sorry.
It's all good.
Fuck.
Okay,
Yeah.
so,
Don't do that.
I had a hallucination at one point in time. I guess I call them hallucinations, but I'm pretty sure it was a spirit because it is what it is, but it was a weird energy. I had this friend over at my apartment with my roommate, and I went to the bathroom, come walking out of the bathroom, and as I opened the door and start to walk out, this person walks by me, and I thought it was my friend that came over. So I was like, what is she doing? She didn't even say hi to me. What's going on? Like, you're just walking right by me, but whatever. Not that it mattered that much, but I'm just saying, like, that was weird. And then I looked down the hall at her, and she's got no legs and she's floating. And then she disappears at the end of the hallway. And I was like, oh my God, what the hell? And come to find out that my friend who was over ate her twin in the womb. And I don't know if that's what that was, but that's the only thing that makes sense, because I never saw her again, never saw that visual hallucination again. It wasn't like something that stuck around. It was just something that happened that one time. And I'm not friends with that girl anymore, but it was something that I'm pretty sure had I gotten to be closer friends with her, I probably would have seen that hallucination more often when I'm around her. That's what I'm guessing. I never saw it any other time. It was just a weird it was just weird because it looked exactly like her. Walking down the hallway, thought it was her. And then it turns out it's not her because it's not anything. It was just a very weird instance. Let's see.
Like, I want to interject here. My mom actually was clairsentient, and like, she is the kind of person who, let's say someone comes over to work on the electricity or, do something in the house that they were hired to do, and my mom stops them and goes, "Did you have a twin?" This is a real story too. That's why your twin story reminded me of this twin story. And she goes, "Did you have a twin brother?" And he goes, "Yes, but he died." And she's like, "He's still with you." She just knew this. She could just feel his energy. She could feel the energy of the twin following him, guarding him, watching over him. And it's incredible. She's the kind of person who picks up on the subtle energy of so many people around her that it would be overwhelming. She's extremely sensitive. And there are times when she would just know things. And I'll tell a story later about her intuition, but yeah, I just wanted to throw that in, that sometimes, energy is attached to people.
Yeah, it is. Especially when you eat your twin in the womb. Just saying.
Yeah.
You did that damage. Now it's stuck to you. Sorry, I was a baby. I didn't know.
I needed more nutrients. I took yours.
Steal from the other baby in the womb. All right. Let's see. Another instance I had. I was at work one night. It was a late night. I was working in data entry, and they needed us to do like 12-hour shifts, and we were doing like night shifts, and so I did the late shift, and I was a smoker back then, the woes of being a smoker. I went outside to go smoke, and I was smoking, and I noticed this guy over in, like, okay, so like, here's the building is let me show it like this. The building's like this, right? This is where the door was, right here. This is where the door inside was, and then this was the other side of the building. He was right here in the darkness, and I could see his legs, and I freaked out, and I started running away, and he chased me with a knife. And I thought it was a real person at first. And then I had nowhere else to go, so I turned towards him, and he was gone. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That was another instance. Turns out there was a homeless man that died in the area.
Really?
Yeah, there was a homeless man that died in the area. Literally like the night before. Something like that. Yeah. And so I think that was him. I don't know. But when I heard that story, I was like, oh my God, that's what that was.
So I want to say something similar. When I was a kid, there was a spirit in my house, and I would hear it at night, and it sounded like a little girl laughing cruelly. And my mom, she thought that it wasn't laughter, it was crying. She was crying for her mother. And I don't know, I got a bad feeling off it, and my mom felt protective. And I think that that little girl, she was jealous of me because my mom loved me and took care of me. And one time I was in the shower, and I was in the bathroom with the door locked, okay? My dog, Buddy, he was a collie / beagle. That's irrelevant, but I'm just painting a picture. And he was sleeping on the rug while I was showering. and I was in the shower with the curtain closed, and all of a sudden, a rock, a fucking rock, a real rock, okay, hit the curtain and fell into the tub, and it shocked me, so I jumped over the rock as it went clank, 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 and hit the drain. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, who threw a rock at me? I thought I locked the door. And I pulled a curtain, and I look in the room, and there's no one there. And I turn back. The rock is gone. I think that, and I could hear, and that's the thing, I could hear her fucking laughter. I was like, it's her. She did it. I know she did it. She hated me. She was trying to kill me, I think. I mean, because if I had slipped in the shower from jumping over that fake pretend rock, like, dude, I could have cracked my neck. But my point here is that spirits who have gone through a traumatic experience or are feeding off the emotions, in this case, the emotion of my mother's grief because my father had just died, use that emotion and transfer it into power, and they can actually affect the physical world. They can do physical things. They can open and close doors. They can turn radios on and off. What else can they do? What else do they do?
Throw things at you.
Throw things at you. Yeah. So, that's just a form of energy. And the thing is, you could say, well, how did the rock appear solid if it wasn't real? Well, that's the thing. Energy is vibration. Everything is vibrating at a speed. So the rock didn't have to be real and stable and permanent in order to temporarily manifest as a solid force, if that makes sense.
Yeah. It does. Yeah, so I've had a lot of experiences. There was one time, I've talked about this in my hallucinations video before, but this was back when I wasn't very spiritual after my last episode. But there was a time in my last episode where I had a lot of visual hallucinations. It was like, I know this could be said that it's probably because you didn't sleep. I hadn't slept in quite a few days. I think the whole period of time where I didn't sleep, it was about 10 days. During that 10 days, I had a lot of visual hallucinations. And I know, it's because you didn't sleep, but it feels so real, and I just don't think that it has to do with the fact that I didn't sleep too. Or that it only has to do with that. I think it's a little bit of both. I think that when we haven't slept, we get more in tune with the spiritual world, because our body starts to get weaker and weaker and weaker because we're not getting the rest we need.
Your subconscious mind activates, and it's actually like you're having a waking dream.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A lucid waking dream.
So I had this one time. At the time, I had pictures of my ex on my phone that I would look at every once in a while, just to because I could hear her voice, and so I needed a face to go with it, and I liked looking at her. She was beautiful. So I had her picture on my phone in front of me. I was in my bedroom. I saw this black cloud over here on this side, and I could hear voices coming from over here. This over here was my love corner, which was really odd. That's where the black cloud was in my love corner.
Yeah.
If you know Feng Shui, the love corner is specifically an area that you try to decorate in a way that brings love into your life.
Well, like we said previously, even love is on a spectrum and can be good or evil.
Yeah, which it was definitely evil in this case. And then I was talking to the voices, and I was looking back and forth, and then suddenly I looked down at the picture, and she's crawling out of the phone at me and chases me into the next room, and then I turn around and she's gone. But yeah, she looked like the ring kind of thing, crawling out of the phone, like a little creepy.
No.
Yeah, it was creepy.
Shit. That movie scared me. Like that shit was, oh my god.
I don't even have to see it to know it was scary.
I literally could not walk past a TV with static on it for years. Like, I was like, no.
Yeah, it was creepy. It was really creepy. It was definitely like a sign of something, because I feel like she has a dark energy attached to her, and I don't know if it comes from her trauma or what it was, but there was definitely some dark stuff going on with her. So I think that might have also been a reason why I was obsessed with her too, was because that dark energy got attached to me too.
An obsession is actually kind of a dark thing. I mean, yes,
it's a dark form of love.
Yes, obsession can feel like fire. It can feel like burning. It can feel like I'm in the zone. I'm hyper focused. I'm on top of the world. But you're manic about it, and it's an uncontrolled energy. And a fire that burns without a fire pit is a wildfire. It just consumes everything and leaves nothing behind. It destroys everything. And yes, sometimes when things are destroyed, they can regrow. Like a forest that burns down can, be refertilized, and new seeds and sprouts can come, and it can become a brand new thing, but not before being completely destroyed.
Yeah, so there was definitely some stuff that happened back then that were really creepy. I had some other stuff too. Honestly can't think of any off the top of my head that are really important, but I've had a lot. So
I've got two things to say.
Okay.
First, I'm going to take a little bit of a tangent, and I want to talk about the fact that everything, all the energy in the world has always been there. It was never necessarily created.
That's Albert Einstein. He believed that energy can't be created and it can't be destroyed. So there was no energy. The energy that lives in this universe has always been here, and that's a theory that I also think is goes hand in hand with the Big Bang theory kind of thing. See, we couldn't have existed if nothing existed, if that makes sense. If nothing at all existed, there's no way that we would have existed. Because something has to create something. So you have to have something to create something else. And the same with energy is, if energy has always existed, then that means that there was always at least an energy around to create more energy.
Right. There was never nothing.
Yeah.
Everything is cyclical and recycled, transformed or alchemized. Like it's always reproducing itself in different variations. Like, let's say the Big Bang did happen. I'm not saying the Big Bang didn't happen. I'm saying it wasn't the beginning.
Yeah.
Before the Big Bang, there was a universe.
There was no beginning. That's the problem, is there's no beginning. It was always there.
The Big Bang represents a spot of highly compressed energy, highly compressed mass. That's why it exploded. But the mass, the energy, everything compressed inside the Big Bang was massive, vast, and expansive. And who knows, as far as we know, maybe that's the pattern of the universe. Expansion, collapse. Let's say millions of years from now, billions of years from now, when the sun has burned out and all the other stars in the sky have died, nothing will exist but black holes. And those black holes will eventually come together and merge into one supermassive black hole. And then when that happens, bang! It explodes again. Expand, collapse, expand, collapse, expand, collapse. They're contractions. They are birthing something new.
Well, and here's the thing about the reason why we bring up energy is because we want you to understand that there is scientific proof to spiritual experiences. Yes, you can't necessarily recreate them in a lab, but there is scientific proof to back these theories. The scientific proof is that energy is matter, and if matter has energy in it, if they are the same, they are one and the same, then energy is all around us, and that means that everything is made up of energy. And that also can mean that everything has a soul. Everything has a soul because energy is basically like a soul.
Even time itself, this concept of a cyclical repeating, of universes, could be like the pulse, like a heartbeat inside the consciousness or the embodiment of time itself.
So I do believe that mental illness means that we do have spiritual gifts. But I do want you to understand that even though you have a spiritual gift and that you can do these things, it doesn't mean that what you believe is happening is happening. I do want you to understand that. That is a warning I'm giving you. Just because you believe that you can fly does not necessarily mean you can fly. You get what I'm saying? Like, just because you believe it doesn't necessarily make it true. But you do probably have something spiritual going on with you at this moment with mental illness.
Yes. I want to talk a little bit about some experiences I've had with telekinesis, both electrokinesis and just regular kinesis, as well as, I forget what it's called, but there's something where you touch it and you can feel and pick up on the energy of the object, an inanimate object. So, first I'll start with in chronological order. So, I was a teenager and I had a lot of anger issues. And me and my mom, I love her to death. I mean, as a later adult, like, her and I became best friends. But when I was a teenager, we fought tooth and nail.
Same with me and my mom.
Yeah, it was bad. And
we still fight.
Yeah.
You still fought with your mom too.
Sometimes, but we got so much better at conflict resolution.
That's good.
Yeah, we learned how to communicate because we both wanted to put in the effort to understand each other and accept each other and love each other. But yeah, back then, we're standing in the kitchen, just screaming at each other like a foot away from each other's faces. And I started zoning off, but my mouth was still moving, like I was still screaming at her. but my mind was like detaching and becoming dissociated. And I just felt like I was getting smaller and smaller and compressing. And I just kept thinking, stop. I don't want to fight. I want to stop. Stop it. And all of a sudden there was this huge release. Like something jumped out of my body. And there was a cup on the table that flew between us and crashed across the room. And my mom stopped yelling and just stared at me. And I stopped yelling. And we just stared at each other. And she goes, Courtney, did you do that? And I was like, me? I didn't touch it. Did you see me touch it? And she was like, yeah, but did you do it? And I was like, my first thought was, okay, we have pissed off the spirits. They're like, shut the fuck up. But later, I realized that it probably was me, because I felt such a sense of release. It was as if I had been so contained with so much energy and I was holding it back. I was trying to restrain my anger, but it was just pouring out of me. And all of a sudden, I just couldn't contain it anymore and just released. And it affected the nearest object. And part of the reason I believe that it was me was because I had another experience. So I was visiting my ex-boyfriend, Aaron, who I still loved, and we were friends. We were best friends. But he had moved on, and he had a new girlfriend, and he'd been with her for over a year. And this was the first time I was meeting her, because they had moved back from San Diego and got an apartment together. And so he's back in his hometown, which is my hometown. And I'm like, I'm going to come over. I'm going to hang out with Erin. It's going to be awesome. And I get there, and she was amazing. I mean, she was absolutely amazing. That's
you would have dated her.
I would have dated her. Oh, yes, I would have. Oh, yes. If she was my successor, I was flattered. It was a compliment. But with that said, Aaron and I had such a powerful love that I guess I was jealous. And I'm not a jealous person, but there was something in me that was just unsettled, that was just unhappy, that was... I wanted his attention. I wanted to connect with him. And I felt like I couldn't do it fully because she was there. And so we're sitting on the couch watching TV, and they put on this movie that they both love, that they watched before, that they like to watch together. And of course, Aaron's like, I want to share this with you. I think it's awesome. And I'm like, okay, let's see it. I'm excited. And then I'm sitting there watching it, and I'm just going to say it. I'm not a big fan of anime.
I'm not either.
And this happened to be an anime. And yes, the overarching story was like... the overarching story was really good. It was about, you know, people who had moved underground and created this whole world because the surface of their planet had been destroyed. But this one guy, he decides to go up again and discover that everything that he was told his entire life about the surface of the planet being uninhabitable wasn't true. Like, they could actually leave the underground. And so it's a really good story, but there were parts in it that just irked me, irritated me. Like, you know, typical anime shit. Like, this girl's crawling through a tunnel and her boobs are just bouncing for like 5 fucking minutes straight. And I'm like, I'm just sitting there watching this, and I'm just getting irritated. I'm just like, and they're sitting cuddling on the couch next to me, giggling because they think it's funny. And I'm like, I hate this. I hate this. I don't want to watch this. This movie sucks. I want it to stop. I want it to stop. I want it to stop. And all of a sudden, the TV turned off. And I felt it immediately. When the energy was released from my body, the TV shut down. And I stopped. And I looked at Candy. That was her name.
Candy?
Yeah, Candy.
Oh, goodness. Sounds like a stripper.
It was cute. And
If you're a stripper.
or if you're sweet as Candy. But yeah, and Candy looks at me and she jumps up and runs to the kitchen and turns on the light. And she's like, it's not the power still works. And in my head, I was sitting there calm, no longer angry, peaceful, even beginning to feel kind of happy and ecstatic. And I thought, yeah, it's not the power, because it was me. And she runs back into the living room, turns the TV back on, and we finish the movie, and I enjoy it, and it's amazing, and
You enjoy it?
I enjoy it. It was a wonderful story.
Interesting. Very interesting. I think you've told me that one before, but I've definitely heard the other one before. I was playing with a bug on the pen while you were telling the story. I was listening.
A little bug?
It was a little itty bitty guy. It was like this tiny. Talk about energy. That's
Right?
a little energy.
Oh, that's a little bug. So yeah, those are very similar. One was moving a solid matter, and one was, I believe, electricity. I think I caused the TV to short circuit electrically. And it didn't break the TV, it just turned it off. So, the other story I want to tell, and then I just remembered this other thing that I was going to tell about something you had said, but I forgot to bring it back. So I'll go there after that. But so the thing where you touch an object and you get energy or emotion that was stored inside of it. Kind of the same similar process of how a haunted house becomes haunted. Is the imprint of emotion, the imprint of energy. Yeah, I like that word, imprints on matter and gets trapped. So my mom had a spirit in her bedroom, and she would be sleeping and feel a man's arm wrap around her. And at first she would be like half awake and be like, oh, Mark, that's my dad. And
He was dead.
he was dead. That she thought she was dreaming. But then she would wake up fully and be like, no one's there. And this happened multiple times, okay? And one time she reached up and she touched his arm, and she felt hair, like a hairy man. Like this was a hairy arm. And that wasn't like my dad. And so she was like, who are you? You know? And it got to the point where she was scared to sleep in her bedroom. So she started sleeping downstairs. And so I come over, I'm like, this is ridiculous. You should be able to sleep in your bedroom. Like, let me come over and see what's going on. And I walk upstairs, and I'm standing down the hall looking at my mom's open door. And I can feel this ominous presence, just this heavy energy. And I can literally see like white mist coming out of the door. And I'm like, oh God, this is gonna be intense. Like, this is real. Okay. You know, take a deep breath. Be like, walk deeper into the density. The density of this energy. I think that was a cat.
Oh, somebody tried to open the door.
Getting spooked.
I am getting spooked. We're talking about all this stuff. I thought Chloe was out here.
And that's the thing about quantum physics. They call it a spooky, spooky weirdness.
I need to get a tissue.
All right, should I wait for you to come back, or?
No, go ahead.
Okay. So where was I? Yes, the density of this energy, just thick, super thick. And it felt like walking through something thicker than air. So I go into the room, and it is filled with like clouds of white fog. And I can sense a spirit, and it looks to me like, okay, let me see if I can describe this. So you can see the perimeter, the brim, the outside of the spirit, just the outline, because all the energy in the room, the static electricity, is like going towards the spirit, like it's being compressed, like it's pulling from the corners of the room. And then the spirit itself in the middle is completely clear.
It's Chloe.
It is Chloe. Yeah, so you can see it because it's the absence of energy. Well, it looks to me like the absence of energy, but I know it actually is the energy. It's just come down to the spot, and you can see the outline. So you can see the outline of the person. And I see this really, really tall man, and I just get a masculine energy from him. And I'm like, okay, so there he is. There's the man. And he kind of, she's aware of me. And I'm like, it's okay. I'm here to help. And he's like, okay, calm. So I walk over to the picture on my mom's nightstand, which is a picture of her and my dad. And I pick up the picture, and I'm like, this is my dad. And I can feel like he had been kind of leaning over my shoulder looking at the picture, and when I say that, he goes, like, what the fuck? And I'm like, I get this distinct energy that the distinct thought that he thought that he was married to my mom. And he kind of pulls back, and I'm like, walking around the room trying to feel anything else I can feel, and all the energy is centered over the bed. So I get on the bed and like lay and just spread out, and I'm like, okay. And my mom is downstairs, and she calls out to me, Courtney. And I'm like, what? And she's like, the bed. And I'm like, literally laying on the bed. And I'm like, yeah. Okay. And so it occurs to me to look under the bed. And as soon as I look under the bed, I see a fucking antique rifle. And I reach towards it, and as soon as I touch it, my hand clenches into a fist, and I grab it and pull it onto my lap. And I just sit there, and I'm like, oh. and I feel all these intense emotions that are not mine. Like, there's nothing in me that caused this experience to happen. Like, it was the energy of the gun. It was anger, betrayal, guilt, shame, sadness. And I got the distinct feeling that the mountain man, he had lived in a wooden cabin, and he had shot his best friend and his wife when he caught them in bed together.
Oh. Woo. Yikes.
And I took the gun and I went downstairs and I slammed the gun on the table. And I'm like, I need to get rid of this thing. Why do you have this? Where did you get it? And she's like, oh, your Nana, she found it at a garage sale. It's an antique. I mean, I don't even know if it works. I was like, Mom, he, and her face pales. And she looks at me. And she goes, he killed them, didn't he? I was like, yeah, he did. He killed them. You need to bury this gun. And she did. And the spirit went away. The fog cleared out of her room, and she was able to start sleeping in her bed again.
That's pretty crazy. That is a lot. How old were you?
I was in my 20s.
Oh, okay. So you were old enough to hold a gun.
Yeah. But I never had touched a gun before.
All right. Well,
So just let that sit for a second. I am not making this shit up.
I know you're not. You've told me this story a million times before.
Just never in this much detail.
Yeah. Well, you didn't tell me that he killed both his wife and best friend.
Yeah, and also when I told my mom that he thought that he was married to her, she was like, that makes sense. Because he was putting his arm around me while I was sleeping. Like, he thought I was his. And I was like, yeah, he did. He thought you were his wife. So, all right, moving on. You told me a story about the girl who crawled out of the screen and how in your feng shui area there was this dark cloud of energy.
Mm-hmm.
I have seen a dark cloud of energy. It was when I was a teenager, so we're kind of rewinding, we're going in reverse.
It's kind of like a little scribble, right?
No, not a scribble.
It was a cloud?
A thick, wispy, dark cloud.
Mine was more like
smoke.
Like a scribble, but it was a cloud too. It's hard to explain. It was just like this.
Yeah, describe it more.
It was like a ball, but it looked like it had been scribbled. I don't know how to explain it.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like someone had gone like...
Yeah, to create this cloud.
Like...
Yeah. It was like
it's made of threads or scratches.
Like a cartoon or something. Yeah, it was not a very fun cloud.
Sounds like chaotic energy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that girl that I saw that was walking down the hallway, she had a cloud around her waist, but she had no legs. So she was floating on a cloud.
What I saw was smoky. I want to say wispy, like fog, like black fog. And there were 2 streaks of red coming down, like I usually say twin waterfalls of blood, bloody waterfalls. Or maybe like if her face was down like this and like shrouded so you can't see her face, just red hair. And yes, I did personify it as a female. At the time, I was a cutter. And I was desperately trying to stop. I think that the energy I created surrounding my self-harm, I pushed it out of my body, similar to the telekinesis experiences where something was compressed and contained so much, just like the Big Bang, everything's compressed and compressed and compressed until it explodes outwards. I couldn't contain it anymore, so I externalized it, and I released it, and it manifested into my room. It was floating above, it was actually the living room, over the chair where I usually sat next to my mom. My mom was in the living room watching TV, completely unaware of its existence. And I walked downstairs and stood in the archway looking into the living room and just froze because I saw this vision. And I felt just this heaviness and this like thing that just made me go, nope, no. I turn around, I go back upstairs into my room, lock the door, and I make a sacred circle. So I lit candles, I called the elements, I asked for my guardian angel, my higher self, my ancestral spirit, my, what do you call that, spirit guide, whatever you want to call it, Meijing. I asked her to come and protect me. So the dark spirit followed me upstairs, but instead of following me as a vision, it followed me as an orb of blackness, like inverted, like a black hole. It followed me upstairs, and my spirit guide Meijing, she manifested in visual form as a white glowing orb. And the two battled each other and then disappeared. I thought it was over. I thought I was safe. So I wanted to cleanse. I leave the circle and I take a bath. But I light candles because I feel like I'm doing like a ritual cleansing. And as I lay there in the tub, I begin to sense this collection of energy gathering at the top of the ceiling. And I'm looking up and I'm like, hello? And it starts descending, coming down closer and closer. But at first it just feels like it's leaning in and it's not threatening. And I kind of pull back a little bit, you know, I'm like, because it's just this huge wall of just like energy like coming down. And I'm like, and the voice goes, it's me, Meijing. Don't you trust me? And I'm like, yeah, Meijing. Okay, of course I trust you. And so it starts coming down again, and it's pushing on me, and it's pressing me into the water to the point where it almost forces me under the water. And then all of a sudden, it releases, And I'm like, I feel like this energy, like this vast, like hyper energy, just like, oh my God. And I'm like, oh, and I jump up out of the tub, and I'm like, and for a week straight, I'm just hyperactive, completely manic. I think it possessed me. I mean, I don't think it was a demon that wasn't mine, but I think I created it, and then it returned and possessed me. It was that determined for me to self-harm. And it wanted me to bleed. It wanted me to die. And all of that intense energy got transmogrified into voices in my head. And the voices created puzzles, riddles, pictures to trick me, to explain to me why it could justify pain, why it could, that it said that it could transform pain into strength, that it could transform pain into, it's hard to explain. I mean, good and evil are subjective. Like, it's, that I could use pain as a tool. There's so much to it. It just, and then when I called out that voice, it switched and it became another voice, another image, another picture. But I later discovered that even though it kept switching, I kept refuting it and it kept switching, it kept coming back. And it was actually the same voice. It was the same energy. It was the same freaking thing with just different faces. Being persuasive, trying to trick me, trying to manipulate me, trying to convince me. And yeah, I'm a little sidetracked.
Okay. I think we've got a really long video now, and I don't know if anybody's going to watch it all. So I think we should stop it here. We got a lot. All right, so that was basically everything that we want to talk about for today. But I think we can go into detail a lot more on energy. Energy is such a broad subject that comes down to a lot in spirituality. So I think that this is a subject that we will talk about further in the future. But just know that I believe in something higher. I believe in something bigger. She believes in something bigger. We believe that it's not just that we're crazy. We are something else, spiritually gifted. So I hope that you guys have a really great rest of your day, night, wherever you are, depending. And I hope that you guys have good energy around you.
Good vibrations.
I don't know what I was doing. I was trying to kiss you away. Good vibrations. Bye.
Bye.